Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of If It Isn't Love. Am I allowed to do that?
I mean, we're not playing the song, so.
Oh, so I can sing it. All right. Welcome back to another episode. I am your host, Danisha, and right over her is my co-host,
J.L. Woodson.
And we're happy to be back. I'm really happy because it's holiday time, and I've allowed myself to start playing Christmas music in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it sounded wonderful.
I'm not saying you didn't sound wonderful. I'm like, you wouldn't even let me put up the Christmas tree because,
okay. Now, I don't know how everybody else feels. I know that 2020 has been an interesting year, to say the least, right? Because I'm not going to say it was the worst year of my life, because it wasn't. 2016 was that for me. It wasn't. It's been crazy. It's been so crazy that it's been comical. So I haven't allowed it to be terrible. Right. I mean, yes, the bad parts have been bad, but there's also been a lot of good things. And we talked about, I've never been able to rest as much as I have and just allow myself to take the pressure off. But there are certain things that I just feel like, I know people start putting up their Christmas trees because they just like, F it. Mm-hmm. I know people like, and I'm leaving it up till Valentine's Day, whatever.
I mean, I'm not that person, but
there are just certain things. So we did get a tree, and I think this is both of our first tree as adults. So this is my first tree that I purchased that okay, because I might put a wreath on it, because it's usually just me. Which is good. Would have been a good segue into today's topic. But I feel like I know that there are no Thanksgiving songs. I know that there's no Thanksgiving anything, but I feel like people don't give Thanksgiving a fair chance to live. I'm already listening to Christmas music, and I just want to wait. The other part is the tradition that I grew up with was putting up the Christmas tree. Either two things. We either put it up. Well, we didn't really put it up Thanksgiving Day because we usually were eating and we were full, or we were at my grandma's house and stuff like that. So there was no putting up the Christmas tree. Although my grandmother had already had the Christmas tree up. Right. But my mom, when we put up the Christmas tree, we usually did not put up the Christmas tree until the day after Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
And most times she didn't put it up until after my birthday, because she tried to give my birthday some time to have a little shine before we started doing Christmas. But sometimes I would want to put it up. Like, I would have parties at my house for my birthday, and I'd want the Christmas tree to be up. And sometimes I didn't. When I got older and we were dancing, I didn't want the Christmas tree up in a way. So I don't know. I don't know.
I think, well, okay. Like, of course, like when I grew up, like we had, I believe we had a Christmas tree. If memory serves me correct, we had a Christmas tree. And then I got older, like a little bit older. Like, I always went over my godmother's house to decorate her Christmas tree and everything. Then after that, we didn't, my family's really small. So it's like, after a while, it was just me and my mother. And we didn't really have a Christmas tree like that. And I wasn't really missing it or anything like that, because I'm always concerned with what's up under the Christmas tree. And then, I don't know, like, I guess like the Christmas spirit, touched on me and everything like that. And like, okay, we can basically get a Christmas tree on our own and whatnot. So we got a Christmas tree. But my thing was, I didn't know like how long you wait, because like there's people with Christmas trees. I mean, up
absolutely. I told you, Lauren sent me a video like last weekend where she was like singing Christmas music under her Christmas tree, and then when we were on the phone the other day, she had garland all over the banisters. Oh, she's fully garland? Like the green stuff. It looks like Christmas tree. Garland.
Okay.
Christmas tree on a string.
I'm new to this.
Oh, gosh.
I'm new to the decoration part.
Yes. She has garland on her banisters and all that other kind of stuff. So she ready. And she just showed me the Christmas pajamas she bought for her in Tucson, which we need to get some. Oh, Navy has a sale. But I digress. I don't mind it, also because of our apartment, we have to shift things around, like our furniture and all that kind of stuff, in order to accommodate the Christmas tree, even though it's not like, I'm glad we have it, but I'm also like, I wanted to wait till I was on vacation. So now I'm on vacation officially. And we still have, I feel like I still have tons of things to do, just like as I'm thinking about my birthday stuff. But I don't know. I want to do it, but I want to do it when it's like, when I wasn't worrying about anything else. Like, oh, I got to finish this last minute stuff for work. So let's hurry and put the Christmas tree. And I didn't want to rush and I also didn't want to put it up and not have the decorations. I hate the bare tree.
Gotcha.
I don't like that. I don't like the bare tree sitting in the house. Like, decorate me, please. I'm over naked. God.
Anyway.
I don't like it. So we have to go get decorations. I'm ready this week. Thanksgiving is going to happen. I'm ready. My Friday is clear. Leftovers and Christmas tree decorating. I'm here for it.
I'm here for the leftovers.
Right. I gotta cook a whole Thanksgiving dinner. I'm a little nervous.
I mean, I'll put a little salt on something.
The gift you can give to me for Thanksgiving is to stay out of the kitchen.
Okay.
Can you cook something? So stay out the kitchen.
Thanksgiving wise,
yeah, that's what I mean. That's what we're talking about.
I can
nope, it's okay.
Do a mean cranberry sauce. Like,
do you eat cranberry sauce?
I eat real cranberry sauce though.
I'm not making cranberry sauce.
No, I'm not. Like, it's one of those things I like. My favorite part of Thanksgiving is dressing. So that's me.
I thought about not making dressing, and then I remembered that. And so I'm going to make it. I was supposed to call my mom back the other day. I'm going to call her back today so I can make sure I have all the ingredients before I go grocery shopping tomorrow.
Man.
Because I just kept thinking it's just us. And my list kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, make a smaller one.
I mean, you still have to get the ingredients. That doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
But my list of items kept getting bigger. And I was like, it's just us. Maybe I'll just make a fancier regular dinner. But I was like, oh, he really likes dressing, huh? My mom will make great dressing. So her recipes, her dressing was fine. And then I started thinking about it and I'm like, okay, I kind of really want some. What really got me is because my sister and my mama aren't making any. So I was like, well, they made rice. I was like, well, I can do rice. Okay, so we're making dressing. Well, I'm making dressing. So that's a big feat because I'm usually just in charge of the mac and cheese. She don't eat mac and cheese. I'll eat
don't
it.
Be putting my business out there for Black America to shun me.
Yeah, he don't eat. Even my mac and cheese is fire. He don't eat, but you just don't eat cheese like that.
Yeah, I'm not a big cheese, like super cheese fan.
He don't
like
eat
everybody
cheese
got
and
them fancy
quesadillas.
cheese. Yeah, and pizza.
Everything except mac and cheese. Whereas I eat like cheese like as a snack, like when I'm hungry. Like after we finish, I'm probably gonna go cut me a few pieces of sharp cheddar. But I grew up, that's how my grandmother used to do. She was just like, when she would make stuff, she'll cut a few pieces of cheese and then call us and give each of us. Or if we're hungry, eat a slice of American cheese.
I will say, like, and this is just to throw that out there for Thanksgiving. Like, I used to eat mac and cheese when I was a kid. I don't know what happened where cheese just tasted nasty.
Maybe because you're eating a lot of artificial cheese.
Like we had real cheese, like real cheddar, real sharp jack and all that stuff. Like they put that in there. I don't know who changed up the recipe and started, like, no disrespect to my mother, but I hate the taste of Velveeta.
I knew you were about to say that.
I hate the taste of Kraft Singles.
I don't put Kraft Singles in.
She doesn't put Kraft Singles in it. But I'm like if I'm making a sandwich or something like that, I'm not going to reach for no Kraft Singles.
Well, I haven't had a Kraft. Yeah, Kraft. I mean, I think I got something I put Kraft Singles, but normally I get Sargento, something that's. But I don't put either of those cheeses in my mac and cheese. I only put real cheese. And when I can, I try to go to the cheese section of the grocery store. But let me tell you, that's expensive. So that's why sometimes I go to the prepackaged, and I know that it's not the best quality cheese. But even when I get that cheese, a nice size pan, when I would make macaroni and cheese for my family for Thanksgiving, it would cost a good $35 to $40 for all the cheeses you have to put in there for like 2 pans of mac and cheese. It costs like $40. It's so expensive because cheese. So going to because cheese. So I can't. So sometimes I'm just like, when I want to go to the fancier cheeses, it's just like, ugh, it's so much money. But when it's just, I thought about making it because also our Thanksgiving dinner is still keto friendly, except you make faces. We're gonna be eating sandwiches and quesadillas. We're gonna eat what you can make.
I make more than that, but still.
Okay. It's gonna be keto friendly. It's still gonna be good. You've been ketogenic for almost a year now, and look at you. You eat good. You'll be fine. But the only thing that's probably gonna be very like, whoa, this is keto, is the mac and cheese. But you don't eat it because I'm gonna make a small portion for myself because I want to try to make it, but with cauliflower, which I like. It's probably gonna be cheesy cauliflower, whatever. Whatever. But I think that it's still going to be really good. Oh, and we're gonna have one non-keto item because there's no way to keto-fy sweet potatoes.
True.
And you want sweet potatoes. I'm not gonna eat them, but you want them. I was gonna make a bread pudding, but I'm gonna wait till after my birthday to make it before I go back to keto. I go off keto for my birthday every year because I want to eat out, and it's too hard to try to figure out. Anyway. We didn't come here to talk about any of this Thanksgiving stuff today, but that's fun because Thanksgiving is happening in a few days. And by the time you're listening to this, it'll be Thanksgiving Eve. So yeah, Thanksgiving will be coming up really soon. Happy holidays, y'all. Anyway, what we are talking about today, we're talking about living together, which is something that we've done for almost a year. It's been a good 10 months. Because you moved here December 29th. And so we've been living together for almost a year. And so we just want to talk a little briefly about what it's like living with someone, especially like as a romantic partner. I think some of the do's and don'ts, some of the lessons that we learned, maybe if, you could do something different, what would it be? And then different types of living situations for couples. I have a few that I've seen, and I want your opinion on what you think it would be like to live in some of these arrangements. Okay. So what's interesting about us living together is for you have lived with your significant other before. Yeah. And this is my first time. And, hopefully the only time. I mean, that's what you're hoping. Me too. Living with my significant other. I've had roommates. I had a roommate when you moved in. Yeah. Who left a few weeks after. But I never lived with someone that I was dating. Okay. And so I know that living with someone is a big deal. Right? Like having roommates, I realize how I've had to switch up just like some of my living arrangements and things like that, and sharing bathrooms and doing all that kind of stuff, sharing space. But I think, and I underestimated what it would be like when you share all spaces with someone. Because I think my best living roommate situation was when Amber and I lived together on Michigan. Because yes, we shared living space because we had a living room, kitchen, all that. But we each had our own bedroom and bathroom. Okay. So we didn't even have to share a bathroom. So that was just like perfect. So there were days, and my bathroom was inside my bedroom. I had an ensuite bathroom. So sometimes, like if I wasn't feeling good, I would go get some snacks, and I had no reason to leave my bedroom at all. Okay. So that was great. It was like living alone, but like if you got lonely, we could knock on each other's door and be like, "Hey, girl, what you doing?" And so living with the person, like where we share not only the common areas, but we share our bathroom and our bedroom, was actually a significant shock for me. So the first time you lived with somebody, like how old were you?
First time I lived with someone.
Wait, how many times have you lived with your significant other?
This would be my third.
Okay.
I believe.
Okay.
It's like 3 or 4.
Do you not know?
I feel like I'm forgetting one person. So that's why I'm giving that leeway. But I believe
You just black out of time you live. I just feel like you don't remember living with someone. I remember everyone I've ever lived with.
I need that ginkgo biloba, but still.
Like you don't remember like if you guys lived in an apartment or in a house together?
It wasn't the fourth one that I'm thinking of is one of those things where we weren't necessarily living together.
No, that's what I mean.
Like we were one of those things. It was one of those things where I came back from school and of course I didn't like I wanted to be on my own. I wanted to be with her and everything like that. So we were together, I believe, for like 2 months. And then I went back to school.
But you live in the house with her for 2 months?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I get you.
That's why I was like kind of iffy, but like definitely 3. You are my third.
Oh.
So yeah.
Ding ding ding.
Anyway, I mean, it gave me perspective, like about living with, because it's different when you have a roommate, and then also when you have somebody that you love and want to be with. There's a total difference. Like with a roommate, you're like, yeah, bro, this ain't working out. We gotta go. Mm-mm. Like, so like I've had roommates before and everything like that, but like there's been times where we didn't see eye to eye on stuff. There were times where there were like basically being in the second bedroom and like, you know, you're hearing your roommate basically having sex and everything like that. I'm like, don't necessarily want to hear my wall knocking at like 2:00 in the morning, but that's, I mean, get down how you live. But it's different when you actually live with a person that you are in a relationship with, because like this is our space,
right, and
everything. So, but also we want to have that mindset where we are able to go into a different room or I can be in there working, you could be in there watching TV or be out here watching TV and stuff like that. And then also our interaction within how we maneuver in this house, like how we do things together, and then how we manage a rhythm, like basically upkeep and stuff like that. So
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Living with somebody was very different for me because I've lived by myself for a while. My first apartment that I ever moved into, let me adjust that. When I was 23, when I moved back home after college, probably maybe 7 months after I moved back home, I lived by myself for 9 months, and then I've had a roommate ever since, or I moved back home. So I moved back home and I've had a roommate. And so I've had various situations like that. So then when I moved to Houston, I was like, I want to live by myself. So my first apartment that I lived in for about 13 months when I moved here, I lived by myself. And it was so weird at first because it was interesting just like not having anyone near, like that was in the house. And then you hear noises and stuff like that. But I also just really love living by myself. Like when I didn't want to clean, I didn't clean. Like there was a thing, even when you have a roommate, when you want to make something and you know, like I wash dishes and then I went on about my day or I went to bed. And when I come back and I want to eat something and the dishes are now dirty again, but I didn't. So now I have to wash them again so I can eat. And it's just the way things are, but it would be so annoying. So to know that, like, you know, if I wash the dishes when I come back to eat or to do whatever, it was like I left it. Or to know that, you know, if I didn't want to clean and I wanted to eat off a napkin or whatever, nobody was there to judge me. And I could keep up the appearance that I didn't do things like that.
Right.
You could walk around in no bottoms and it not be like weird. It's just like stuff like that I loved. And then I got this apartment and it's a 2-bedroom and it just got expensive. And like when Drea was getting getting ready to move, and I was just like, I got an extra bedroom, move here. And now I like love having the extra bedroom. I mean, I loved having it before, but it's because of the pandemic, it's very useful. And because of our new, a lot of the new endeavors that I have, and from the entrepreneurial aspect, it's very necessary. But also living with another person is necessary. It's just necessary to have extra space in the house.
Yeah, you don't realize how much more extra space you need. Like, especially, like, I can't imagine what it would be like having a 1-bedroom with both of our stuff. And I like the fact that, like, if I'm able to go in there and work, you're able to go in there and do your hair and makeup tutorials and videos. Go visit the D Renee YouTube channel. And we just have granted, I do believe like we're gonna need a bigger space, of course, like, when we have kids, or if even before that, we want to do a lot of things for like our YouTube channels and everything like that. So we have to have our own office space and studio space, so you can decorate how you want and I can decorate how I want. And then you want 2 bathrooms. So
I want my own bathroom. I don't know if I want to. Okay, I want my own bathroom or a much larger bathroom. Like, I really ideally want something that has a separate tub and shower.
Gotcha.
I like having. I'm not gonna say I don't want 2 bathrooms. It's not because I want my own bathroom. This is whether it's us or roommate. I hate when I'm like driving and I'm like, I gotta pee, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta pee. And then I'm rushing up to the 3rd floor, tripping over myself to pee. And I come in here and somebody's in the bathroom. It's like, and now I have to disturb you because I have to pee.
Right.
And now I have to go to the bathroom on top. And most of the time when you go, it just never fails. If you go to the bathroom because you got to rush and somebody's in there, it's not because they're peeing. It's because they're pooping. Now I got to go sit. And because I'm a girl, I sit. So now I got to go sit on your hot booty air.
What?
And now I'm just uncomfortable as I'm urinating because the seat is so very warm.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, and let me tell you, with love, she's going to kill me for saying this, but I'm going to say it. My sister, my mom talk about this all the time. And my sister and I were roommates for like 10 months. And she lives in the bathroom. I just be like, are you putting a home in there? What is happening?
I mean, you got to sit and ponder and reflect and think and play a game and check your Facebook.
Let me tell you, the only time and I have a whole other tangent about using your phone in the bathroom. And I'm not going to say I don't do it on occasion, but it's icky and we shouldn't do it. Because how many times now, because of the pandemic, I wipe my phone off almost every time I come in the house. But before, just think about how many times you sit there and fecal matter from when you flush the toilet and it's just in the bathroom and you on your phone on the toilet and then you put it to your face. But I'm just saying, you don't wipe it. You don't wipe it. If you don't wipe the phone every time. You wipe your phone down every time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue with you on that. So just having your phone like in the bathroom, I just think it's a bad idea. I used to read in the bathroom when I was a kid.
Okay. There have been times where, there have been times where I unconsciously just didn't think to do it.
I know.
But for the majority of the time, I'm like, because this might be too much TMI for bathroom talk. Like I wipe down everything when I'm in the bathroom. So it's like, because one thing I don't want you to sit on a dirty or like whatever toilet or anything like that. So it's like I wipe down everything. Clorox wipe that thing down. I wipe my phone off
every time.
Yeah. No, literally, I will wipe down the toilet every time.
Okay.
I'm serious. Like that's one of the things where because like even though we don't think that something like even after I pee or anything like that, I still have the toilet seat up and everything like that. But there's stuff that splashes on the back of the toilet, especially when you flush and everything like that. So I wipe down the toilet every time.
Okay. Let's just move on. So that's why I like the idea of having a second bathroom. Really, mainly because I feel like but I also feel the other way. If I'm in the bathroom and you have to pee, it's like, dang, just let me get this. Because I thought it was almost done, but not quite. But now you got to pee. Mm-hmm. So I really want 2 bathrooms. And then for guests, because I just don't want guests to, whenever we get back to the point where we have guests, I don't want guests using my bathroom. Right? So then you can hang your bra.
Use my bathroom.
No, it's not. I'm not even looking at it as a my bathroom, your bathroom. I'm thinking it more as a guest bathroom and a master bathroom. It absolutely totally depends on where we are. You know, if you have a house, I mean, because you could have a house where you each have your own bathroom, that's one thing. But most places aren't built that way. Most places are built like there's a hall bath, or there's like that extra bathroom, and then there is
the half bath.
Yeah, but it could just be an extra bathroom. Like there's an apartment, like we have one of the few 2-bedroom, 1 bathrooms. Most places have 2-bedroom, 2 bathrooms, but 1 bathroom is built like is built where it's like an ensuite where you can only get to it from the bedroom. Okay. And then the other one will be like by the front door or like by the hallway or whatever. I definitely want to utilize mostly the ensuite. I'm not going to tell you can't use the ensuite. Like no. So I wouldn't differentiate my bathroom, your bathroom. But more than likely there will be one that like you use more or that I use more. But I don't want to get too far off into that tangent because I don't want the hall bathroom that guests use to be like your bathroom. I know you're like that you decorate. Like there's a difference when it's like that. It's like, this is our bathroom. It's the master bathroom. It's the bathroom connected to our bedroom. And then there's the one that guests use. It's usually the one that's less touched because only people when they visit. I mean, and it's a lot when you talk about cleaning up. Like if you're like, oh, well, if we ain't use this as much, we ain't have to clean it up as often. But I digress. But that is something, I think that one of the biggest things that I've learned, when I talk about lessons that you learn when you move with someone, is I really, in terms of our relationship, it really made me think about how much I value my alone time. And and I think we've gotten better, and I think we've gotten to that point where I could express like I like to be alone, and it has nothing to do with you. It's not like I don't want to be with you or I don't want to be around you. It's just like I like being by myself. Like, and I tell people it's also because it's I appear to be an extrovert, but I'm more of an ambivert. So it's like a mixture of an extrovert and an introvert. So when I'm socializing, when I work, everything is extrovert. So when I be at home, I mean, you know, I'm kind of boring sometimes. Sometimes I just want to sit and watch cooking shows and watch HGTV and bake. And
Great British baker.
That's all I want to do. And not talk and be boring.
And I mean, we did it yesterday.
It was, but in all fairness, I was asleep most of the time. I was so tired yesterday. I just kept falling asleep.
Oh.
Most of the time, I was just falling asleep.
I mean, but still, like, I didn't come in the bedroom because I'm like, okay. Like, because of course I was out here watching YouTube videos. Yeah,
and that's why I didn't come out here, because I didn't want to disturb you. If you were watching a movie, I might have come out. But I just, honestly, I wanted to be in the bed. That was it. That was, I mean, but yes. It go to the privacy or to having time alone, but honestly, I just wanted to be in the bed. That was the thing. That's why I went in there. If you had come in there, I wouldn't have said anything. I just wanted to have my body in the bed. Grow up.
Anyway, but not like, I definitely feel like it was like that part I wasn't used to.
No.
And because like I'm always thinking like something's wrong, like, okay, what did I do? And that was before, but also like that's like baggage from like previous relationships and stuff like that. So I think when it comes to us living together, like it was a shock for me on certain things. Like I didn't the reason why I even said yes to living together is one in part because I wanted to. But also I'm like, okay, you can't really understand how somebody lives just by being apart. Like I wouldn't have moved in like, the first month or anything like that. But I think like you needed to see how I live. I need to see how you live and everything like that. Because it's like, yeah, like when you're first dating or first in a relationship, you don't see everything and you don't understand what that person is like until you actually experience them like in a living situation.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's kind of the way I've always thought. It's not I think the old fashioned thinking of like shacking up and everything like that, like
shacking up. Oh, like, y'all over there shacking up.
Yeah, I'm like people always downplayed that or shun the idea of it, but I'm like, yo.
I think it was more about the premarital sex. That's the part of the shacking. It was the shaking in the shack. Oh. That people were really concerned about.
But I just feel like, yeah, I guess I get that part. But I mean, not really. But
I mean, if you're growing up in a space where you're not supposed to be doing it, we're doing it anyway. So.
Like that's like, as I said before, like my mom I didn't grow up in an Orthodox house. So it was like a lot of stuff was like, okay, if you want to do this, go do it. And stuff like that. I'm like, okay, cool. So when
we would tell our kids, you want to go do first I'm gonna pop you and then them.
What?
Don't do that, Bob. But I'm gonna bust you in the head to the white meat show.
I mean, there's certain things, of course, but I think as far as us, like it was a good decision. Like, of course, it was like I thought about it a lot, especially because like there were so many factors. Like one, we're about to live together. One, I'm about to move to a whole different state again.
Yeah. That was a lot.
So there had to have been some thought process to that. And I'm like, I didn't know how it was going to go. I didn't know if he was going to end up just wanting to strangle me 1 month later and whatnot. So
that was about when it first happened.
Huh?
That's about when it first happened. Probably like a month in, I was ready to kill you.
Well, damn.
We've got to a sweet spot now.
Yeah.
I feel
like
we had to get through some bumps and some, because it was different.
Yeah. And of course, like there was some stuff that I basically had and have to work on. Cause like before I did not touch dishes.
Oh God. Yeah. Shudder.
Shut your face. No, I like growing up like that. That's the part of the reason why I hate washing dishes. Luckily, we have a dishwasher, but there were certain things that I was like, yo, I'd rather clean the bathroom than wash dishes. I'd rather do lawn work than wash dishes.
We ain't got no lawn.
No, I'm just saying, like we had like growing up, we had a house and everything like that, and I had to do the lawn, I had to rake the leaves, I had to shovel snow. Granted, like that's part of my job, but like I would rather do anything else but wash dishes. And I've gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, yeah, like at least load the dishwasher that night. Like it doesn't necessarily happen the way you would like it, like where I would like the dishes would be washed and then put them away or dried and put it away and everything like that. But I'm like, I'm trying.
You've gotten better. And we had the conversation and it was really interesting because we really just got to a place where we found out we were able to talk about how we grew up in very different circumstances or in different ways.
Yeah.
And how that affected how we live. But that was, and I know it sounds crazy to some people. And just going back slightly to what you were saying about like shacking up and things like that. It was poo-pooed upon, I think, for me growing up, even though my mom shacked and shook and shacked. Sorry. She did. Okay. My mom had a sister when she was 17. She was shacking. Just saying. Anyway, she knows. And also you've met my mom, you've met me and my mom, you've seen us together. So I talk just like this to my mother. So it's fine. But she was still like, you should get married first and all that kind of stuff. And I grew up thinking that I should. Now that I'm older and she wants grandbabies, she don't care about none of that. She threw all out the window. But what turned the corner for me about living with someone was having roommates and really understanding that as much as I could care for a person, living with them was very different. And it is actually a make or break situation, especially when you're talking about someone you're in love with. Because if you cannot find compromise in how you live, I don't think it will be successful. And so I know a lot of people who did not live with their significant other until they got married. And that's fine. That's fine. That's what you want to do it. But where it could be like sometimes when people are like, oh, I didn't sleep with this person, I feel like it would be easier to figure out sexual compatibility than living with people. My sister and I, I call her my original best friend. Love her to life. Literally one of my favorite people in this entire world. I love you know how I am about my sister. I'm crazy about my sister. I love my sister like so much. Living together, never again. Ever. We've done it. We didn't even last an entire year. Now, when we lived together in my mama's house, it was different because my mom, a lot of the things, there are things that my mom and I are like on the same page. And then it was my mom's house, right? So it was different. We were only responsible for our individual spaces and stuff like that. But when it's just the two of us, and that's because what my mom created was a very militantly clean person in me, which I totally accept my crazy when it comes to how I like things. And I'm not going to say I'm OCD because that is a clinical diagnosis. Yeah. And I don't have that. And I also realize like right now, because I am trying to lean into my lazy and lean into my vacation, like that office, my space is horrendous. And it's going to be like that till I decide to clean up tomorrow. I realize stuff like that, but also I grew up in a house where you got up every Saturday morning, and after we had, and I'm an early bird. After you eat breakfast, you clean up. At my mama's house, and I think she probably got it from my grandmother. At my grandmother's house, when we ate, if she cooked, we cleaned, and there was no conversation about it. So it literally is a mechanical thing in me. And you don't leave dishes. You cook, you eat. It doesn't matter if you're tired. You wash dishes and you wash, dry, and put away. Now, granted, at my grandmother's house, if I came, that added 6 people. So there was plenty. And not only that, you wash, dry, put away, and you swept. You had to sweep the floor. So like any food that like from the table to the garbage can that fell, my grandma's cooking, you wipe the it's all of those things. So sometimes I realize like the things I say, and I don't want you to make you feel like it's a reflection of your level of cleanliness. It's just more a reflection of how I grew up. Because like you'll be like, I wash the dishes, and then in my mind, washing the dishes is also wiping the counters down, wiping the stove down, and picking up whatever. So if you say I wash the dishes, but all of the counters need to be wiped down, you didn't wash the dishes. But that's because that's how I grew up. And I will say you've gotten extremely better. Because sometimes this is my biggest thing, and you know it. You already know before what I'm going to say. Is just put stuff back the way you found it. But that's what I'm saying. You've gotten so much better. I even notice when I get up in the morning and the couch cushions are put back. And I'm like, it only took me 10 months to get here.
Oh my God.
It only took almost a year to get you to put the couch cushions back. Because I just always think about when you walked away, like, you saw that on the floor or you saw that on the other side. Why not just put it back? Like, and but it also, it has been ingrained in me since I've been old enough to walk. Like, You put stuff back where you got it from. And we got yelled at when we didn't. So I do. And you grew up where you had somebody else cleaning up for you. You know, you had a cleaning lady. And I was the cleaning lady.
She wasn't my cleaning, like, okay, she was my grandmother.
You had someone to clean for you. And I was the cleaning crew.
Like, okay, so, yes. Growing up, my grandmother, Sandy, was the person who did the cooking and the cleaning. Like, I was always by her to, like, learn how to cook and everything like that. But she, like, as far as touching dishes, I just had to bring them in and everything like that. Or I had to make sure my bedroom was clean and whatnot. But other than that, I really don't remember much as far as having to clean anything, really. I wanted to do stuff on my own and everything, but like I had my cousins there and everything, but I really don't remember doing a whole lot of cleaning or doing any cooking in that portion of my life. And then we moved to the house in the suburbs, and I was responsible for my level of the house. Because like it was a 2-level, so it was almost, before we installed stairs in there and had stairs built on the inside, it was almost like a 2-flat. So my mom had her living space upstairs. I had the whole downstairs until it was like to have parties or something like that. But for the most part, I don't remember. Like, I remember at that point in time, like, that was me having to do more in the house and whatnot, but Sandy moved in.
Yeah, no, we had to clean up. It was like a thing. Now, it could have, I mean, in all fairness, you could have turned out like, you could have grown up in my house and still been who you are, because you're more like my sister. Mm-hmm. My sister is like, I'll clean this when it's necessary. Or, let me take that back. When it gets to be too much, then I'll clean it. And so that's my sister. And she grew up in the same, but she was just like, like every day. And every Saturday when mom got ready to clean up, she was like pissed. But me and my mama, and I mean full clean, like take everything down, dust it, put it back. And I just like to keep things clean because really what I learned in therapy is it's a part of my anxiety. I can't operate when things are a mess, even in a physical space. So I've learned how my upbringing has, in a way, affected my anxiousness. Because, like, if somebody's like, do your homework. If I was trying to do my homework and my bedroom was not organized, I had to clean my bedroom before I could do my homework. I can't live in mess. I can't do anything. I really can't. I cannot, which is why I can't even, like, start my weekend without doing a to-do list. I can't.
Yeah.
So it is part, like, I don't have OCD, but it absolutely is a part of how I process things. So I have to keep things cleaner. Plus, I just honestly feel like it's so much easier. It is a lot easier when things are clean. When I wake up in the morning and things are clean, you want to get something to eat. And I hate when I want to eat, but then you got to wash all the dishes first. It's just like, oh, do I really want to eat? Especially if you're tired. It's like, would it be easier just to go to sleep? Especially like if you're tired, it's like, I don't want to do all this stuff before I have to eat, or to honestly, what living with somebody. And again, I would say, I think you've gotten much better because even though, I mean, I realize I clean more because that is the standard. That's how I grew up, and that's how I like things. I like things to be in their place. And I'm different from my mom in the way she has a lot of clutter. I don't like a lot of clutter. If it's something, it's like, oh, it's spilling over. That's my time to look through and say, what do I really need? And throw away. I'm the queen of throwing stuff away. I throw stuff away real, real quick. And so I just feel like, I don't know. It's also like, because I hate when, like, it's one thing to clean up after yourself, but also clean up after somebody else. That's a whole different thing that I had to adjust to. And then it's just like nothing like when you clean something and then somebody uses it and just messes it all up, and it make you feel like, what did I even do that for?
I feel you. Only reason, because like that's how it was like with some of my cousins, like, or even, I love my mom, and I'm not going to try to embarrass her too much.
Not too much.
But
so silly.
like, okay, so when my mom would have like parties, or even sometimes without parties, like when I was growing up, and it was just me and her and my aunt, like we would have, like, this is the part that really made me hate washing dishes, is when nobody would bring their plate and scrape the parts in any part in the garbage or anything like that, and then they would just put it in the sink. I'm like, yo, like, one, I gotta move all the dishes. Y'all just dumped all y'all leftover food in the sink, and I'm like, this is
pre-garbage disposal,
right? I'm like, I'm pretty sure like this is not how this is supposed to go. Why can't y'all just scrape your plate into the garbage? And I think that was the most irritating. Or they would never bring their dishes ahead of time, and like I'm over here washing dishes, and this thing, you know, is just here. Like I had a dish in my room or anything like. And then the irritating part about that was like, why didn't you check? Like they would ask me like, why didn't you check the room for dishes or anything? I'm like, no. Why didn't you bring your dishes to the sink and scrape your plate? Why is there like, I'm gonna talk about this in a second. But that was the most irritating and frustrating part. So when we moved into a place with a dishwasher, I was in love, because I'm like, okay, all I gotta do is just scrape the plate, rinse it, put it in the dishwasher, turn it on. That's why I love dishwashers. Do they always get stuff clean all the time? No.
And I hate the dishwasher.
Huh?
I hate the dishwasher.
I don't hate it. That's the reason why I don't like the dishwasher.
Use it often.
But when to the point where the dining room and everything like that, like growing up, we didn't really eat at the dining room table. So this is another thing that I had to get adjusted to living here. I rarely ever eat on that couch. And like if it's a snack, yes. If it's something like where I have a whole plate of food, nah. I've never really ate at a dining room table like that, like the way I do now. Like even after like cooking like something small, I'm going to the dining room table instead of going to the couch now. And that's not normal for me. So I feel like in a way I'm getting some good portions of like different habits that I wasn't used to before. So like I can only imagine what it's going to be like say if my mom or any family comes to visit and stuff like that weren't used to that, it's gonna be a whole different, like, no, we sit at the dining room table and eat. We don't bring food into the bedroom, or we don't really bring like whole plates of food into the bedroom or bring to the couch. So I mean, I feel like in that respect it's gonna be different for them, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. As far as like cleaning and everything like that, when we had granted, yeah, Cindy did most of the cleaning. My aunt did most of the cleaning. But when we did have different I don't want to say roles, but when we did have different chores that we would do, or that I was supposed to do, it was like a set day when those chores needed to be done. So like washing clothes was like done like on the weekends, mowing the lawn, edging the grass, raking the leaves and everything like that, washing dishes and things of that sort. Of course, like that wasn't saved, and it was like mostly saved till the end of the day. But even still, I didn't really touch dishes until we moved out to like the suburbs and everything, or when I got into high school. Cleaning the bathroom, that was saved for the weekend. So I guess I was used to that part of the routine, like me having to do stuff like that, but on the weekends. And of course, like I didn't have that much to do on the weekend, because we have stuff like, even right now we're doing like podcasts, you're doing your hair and makeup, YouTube channel, we're doing a whole lot of different things. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, but if you don't, so this is the thing. The key thing is, it was different. It's different when it's not your stuff. So all of that for me is, it's different when I don't have, things really click for me. Yes, I grew up this way. That's how it was. And honestly, I know people talk a lot about, you know, the influence that you have, like in how some of us were raised in trauma. Yeah, there were some things that I was raised in trauma, but I don't think it's any of this cleaning stuff. And these are things that I absolutely plan on passing down to my offspring, because you have to be clean. And even though I totally plan on getting to a point where I will have a cleaning lady or man, whomever, cleaning service, I totally believe in that. The responsibility of our children to maintain their individual spaces and wash dishes when the person doesn't come into the house will absolutely still happen. Mm-hmm. I say that, and I think that what really emphasized all that to me, it was when I had to pay for stuff. I didn't eat on my couches and stuff even when I lived here, because I was still paying for it. So like, yeah, when I moved in here and one of the movers scratched up my couch, it made me so upset because I pay for this. So it's very different when you're like, oh, I'm at somebody else's house, or I'm at my mom's house or whatever. When I pay for it, it matters. But we weren't on rare occasions, like my mom was like, oh, we got some fast food and she wanted us to get out of her face so we could eat in our bedrooms. But even unless I am really not feeling good and I want to, like, I'm just like, oh, I need to be in the bed and I got some fast food or I got some soup or something. Yeah, don't eat in the bedroom. Still could never put food in the waste basket in a bedroom or in a room. All food items, that's how mom was like, that's how you get roaches. Mm-hmm. That is literally how you get bugs, putting food out in an uncovered trash can. Mm-hmm. So making sure that we do, it's just things that carried on. And here, we have a very open concept. This is the TV. That's the dining room. So it doesn't make sense to me to sit on the couch. In some places in my old apartment, and I didn't even sit on the couch. If I had a like fast food, I might sit on the floor in front of the couch and eat. And then I would make sure, because I have carpet, I would vacuum. Because the dining room was it was tucked in the corner, so I couldn't see the TV. So if I was trying to watch TV and I was by myself and I was eating, but sometimes I would just sit up and be like, what's wrong with just sitting and enjoying your meal and then coming back? But here it's like, yeah, it's easier to sit at the dining room table because you can still see the TV if that's what you want to do. Right. But yeah, it was just, I grew up in a space, in my grandmother's house, you sat at the kitchen and ate. You could not eat not at the kitchen table. Grown people included. My mom would come to my grandmother's house as an adult. You could not sit on the couch and eat food. It's just not where you eat. So for me, I mean, I'm with you.
Got a quick question. Did your grandma have the plastic on the couch?
No. my grandma didn't have plastic. Not when I was older. When I was like very, very small. But when she moved to like the last apartment she lived in before she passed, no. But you couldn't. And it's things that even we talked about, like, I just got to the point where I'm comfortable with other people laying on the couch. Because you could not lay on the couch. You sat on the couch if you watch TV. Other than that, if you want to lay down, my great-grandma was big on that. If you want to lay down, you go get in the bed. If you sick and you want to lay down, go get in the bed. You could not. And that's why I make the bed. I kind of slowed down on that. That's why we make the bed in the morning. Like, because that is how. And I like it because everything is in order. And it really helps in terms of efficiency. When you want to get something done, because if you do the stuff while you're in the moment, you ain't got to worry about, you ain't got to have big overhauls. Saturday morning cleaning didn't take 4 hours or 5 hours because we've already been cleaning up. So we just kind of doing the extra deep layer of stuff. So we've already gone longer than I wanted to on this particular topic, but I want to switch gears a little bit because we've survived each other. We're telling our story. And I think there's still work to do as we learn about each other's habits. And being in quarantine, I think, has definitely accelerated everything because we work here, we live here, everything is here. Everything is here. And now we work together. Right. So that's like a whole other layer of things.
It's different when your work wife is actually like your girlfriend.
Wouldn't it be cuter if your work wife was actually your wife? Here we are. Still waiting, guys. Nothing.
Just let the plan happen.
I'm sitting here, okay? Don't you see me still recording with you? Don't you see you still live in here, not out there in them streets? Okay, so there's a show I was watching called The Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce. And I remember at the end of it's like 3 or 4 seasons. And at the end of it, these people, the couple, she figured out how she could best live with her new husband. Mm-hmm. And they lived in 2 totally different homes. And he could come to her home. He had a key, everything. He could come there, and live and spend nights, and same thing. She could live in his space. And they both had kids from previous marriages. Mm-hmm. So her kids lived primarily with her, but they could also like go over to her husband's house and whatever, and vice versa. Like his daughter primarily lived with him. So it just got me thinking about non-conventional living situations, because I've also seen the ones where, or like I think maybe it was an episode of Married to Medicine where one of them was a doctor, so they had an apartment that was closer to the hospital, so she stayed at the apartment most of the time, but they also had a bigger house like out in the outskirts of Atlanta, and that's where he lived with their kids, and so she'd go and spend time with them. But if she had like regular, she was doing 12-hour shifts or whatever, so she might spend 3 or 4 days just at the apartment. Her husband could come freely. He had a key, so it wasn't like a secret apartment or something like that. He didn't have to call first. He could just show up. But they had separate living spaces. And most recently, I've seen them where they had the houses that kind of looks like Atlantis, where it's the 2 houses, and then they have a bridge in the Bahamas.
Oh, you're talking about the Royal Tower.
Yeah. Okay. Then they have the 2 houses and then a bridge that connects them, but it's like his and hers homes. What do you think?
I mean, I like that idea.
The his and hers homes with the bridge that connects?
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, do I want to walk all the way out the driveway to the front door and like, bridge? Cool. Because it's cold outside. No.
We live in Texas. No, it's not.
It gets cold here a little bit. And that's more for you. But anyway, I think, I mean, I don't necessarily think I would be opposed to something like that. I just think, I mean, we would basically have to put it out there in the universe, making that kind of money. Like, we're making that kind of money to make that happen. As far as the only reason why I'm much more along the thought process of the last one, the one with the bridge and everything like that, is because like if we do have like when we do have kids, I mean that's kind of like if
stay in your house, They'll stay in your house.
I mean they can go back and forth, but but I think like, cause say if I wanted to spend the night, if I wanted us to spend the night and we were at your portion of the house, and then the kids were in my portion of the house, we don't know what's going on in there. So that's the only issue that I would have with like having like 2 widely separate houses and everything like that. Other than that, I mean, like if it was just us, cool. But that's the only problem that I would have with that. I don't know. I mean, other than that, like because I don't necessarily see it as a full waste of money, especially if it's like mansion style. Like we could have a big house with that type of situation, where it's like multiple houses on the same property and everything like that. And then even with the doctor that basically had the apartment and everything, I mean that makes sense, especially if the financial situation is there.
When?
No, I'm talking about like for them.
No, when it's there.
Okay. Yeah, when. But it would just have to make more sense, like as far as because like we don't live too far from our job. Like, well, of course we work here, or like when stuff does open back up, you really work not
but
too
that
far.
Was different. I picked this place because I worked where I worked. Originally, when I started working there, I didn't live that close. Mm-hmm. I lived a good 50 minutes away, 32 miles away, when I first worked there. I picked this apartment because it was close to work.
But also, like, what would be the point? Like, I understand because she needed to be closer, just like because she works at a hospital.
But that's the whole point. Space. I think that a lot of times, and one of my closing thoughts is, a lot of times we think like when a couple is together, then that means like, okay, now we have to merge everything together. We got to live under the same roof. But that's not necessarily the case for everyone. And it's like, I don't mind, and I don't think it's a big deal, like us living together. And I would like us to have more space because I do like my space. But I think it's interesting to think of like how joining our lives doesn't necessarily mean joining our physical space. Why?
What do you mean?
But like, because why does it have to mean that? And most people, it means like we have to be under the same roof. Like, why do we have to share? I want to totally share a bedroom, but I'm actually, when you first moved here, your mom suggested, I don't know if I told you, she suggested that this be your bedroom, or you have a bedroom and I have a bedroom. We had a conversation. I don't know if I wasn't supposed to share that, but that was her suggestion. And initially I was like, nah. And I wanted us to share. More I think about it, I like the idea of us having our space, but I like the idea of having I'm gonna be in here. But I think you have to always have conversations about what that looks like, because you don't want to be in like, oh, I sleep in my room when I'm mad at you type thing, as opposed to just like, I just want to have space. And it's acknowledged that when I'm in here, I'm just having space. I think that is so important. I just think that those are interesting ways for people to live. We always think like, this is conventional, this is what works. But I know people who are married and intentionally don't, and I've seen different television shows where people talk about that, who intentionally don't live in the same house. And it works for their marriage. People think like, oh yeah, like, no, like it works for us. Like, this works for us. And maybe in every other way, we share responsibility in terms of finances. We have open reign to one another's spaces, but we also just like have our own things happening because we're individual people. I just think it's interesting.
I think I would need to, like, I'm not saying I'm not open to it. I would need to understand the logistics a little bit more, especially how it works for us. But yeah, I'm not opposed to it. Like, there's always ability to have a conversation and like basically map stuff out. Sorry.
I like the idea. I mean, I like the idea of having a large enough space to have very identified whether it looks like a room or an area or whatever, where it's like, well, this is her space and this is his space, or whatever. I really enjoy that idea. I don't know if I'd want a whole house, because I'm scary sometimes at night, and I like to scare myself by watching movies I shouldn't watch and then be nervous all night
and have to turn on something funny.
Yeah, you got that's a scary movie 101.
I've never watched so many scary movies in my life.
Yeah, I love to terrify myself, and then I'm like, ooh, let's watch a cartoon, because that's how you're supposed to do it. But I digress.
Like Jason, Animaniacs.
Yes, literally, that's how it's supposed to work.
Anyway.
But yeah, so I think that overall, living together hasn't killed either one of us, although there have been some close calls. I think I'm really interested to see what happens once, we add children to the mix, how that looks in terms of responsibility
and I think I said this before. I'm like, I can't wait to have kids. Like, granted, I love our kids. Like, but when it's time to go get them groceries from the car, man.
Yeah, but you banking on them they not even born. You know how old they have to get to be able to get groceries out?
No, they coming out and like, yo.
First of all, something big enough to go get groceries, it ain't coming out of me. Just saying. But also, I think that I think that it will definitely shift some of the responsibilities. And I'm telling you, if I'm changing diapers and breastfeeding and goo goo gaga and all that, I ain't cleaning nothing. So we have to figure out what that looks like in terms of, hiring help. And I'm really big on just normalizing people, getting that outside assistance. And sometimes I feel like that
it's needed
now
sometimes.
about cleaning. So I'm like, I don't want to clean, but this I don't want to clean, but this needs to be clean. And so I've thought about even now, like what it would take to like on occasion hiring, even in a small space.
I mean,
because it's a job. Because it's a whole thing.
But it doesn't cost that much. Like I think, because even my mom, like it's just her in that house. She still has a cleaning lady come by and everything like that. And one thing that I had to realize about my mom, like she's not domestic, which I think in a lot of great ways, like that is a good thing because like she has the motivation, she has the mindset for business and stuff like that. She can,
hey, those two things can coexist.
She can wash a dish.
I mean, those things, because I feel like I'm very domestic, but most people wouldn't know that unless they live with me.
True. But I just feel like my mom had my grandmother to help out with that portion and like as far as cleaning and cooking and everything like that. Because I'm like, Sandy did the cooking and I lived because of it. So like no diss to my mom's spaghetti and whatnot. But
clearly it is because I'm like, you said a specific dish, but your mom peach cobbler is lame.
Yeah.
I wish she could ship us some. I would eat it.
She would try though.
She would
definitely try.
She really would.
But like I also have to think about the fact like right now, like when like she has the cleaning lady come by and clean up the house, like the cleaning lady specializes in that. Like I don't think ever in my lifetime like I've seen my mom do all of that. As far as like to the extent where the cleaning lady does it. Cause like that house be spotless.
And I grew up in a house where we cleaned baseboards on weekends. Things cleaning ladies do, we did. We did that. When we move out of here, you got to do all that kind of stuff. I kind of looked up here and saw this scratch on the wall and almost lost it, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
Just from the couch. Yeah, I kind of got mad, but I'm like, see, I'm learning how to just
let
let
stuff
stuff
go.
Magic
eraser.
But it's stuff like I've learned, and it's because you have to clean like that. And then when people move out of apartments, you decide you're gonna pay all that money you got to get to people when you move out of the apartment, or you just keep stuff up, I'm just that person. Plus, I mean, I grew up in a space where they talk mad trash if her nasty ass, you know, she ain't cleaned up, so you had to. But I digress. We're here. We're living together. No one's dead.
Okay.
Any closing words, my good sir?
Thank you guys for watching us and following us on our journey, and excited to see what else is in store for us. Like, of course, we're living together, we're quarantining together. I definitely believe this was a really good decision to move in together and learn more about each other in a close proximity. And still got more learning to do, but I enjoy it.
Thank you guys for joining us. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy all the food. Please remember there's still a pandemic happening. It ain't worth it. I saw a meme that said, don't let your Thanksgiving gathering make you have a COVID Christmas or like or be in the hospital for Christmas. And it's so true, y'all. Like, just go ahead. I plan to set up some kind of a Zoom thing, but just for a few minutes, because I also don't want to be on the screen while I'm eating my food.
Right.
We also, Mr. Man here finished editing our travel vlog video. It is ready to watch on this YouTube. So if you're watching the video right now, go ahead and look at our travel vlog. Check it out so you can see how our trip to Dallas went. He edited it beautifully. I was just on camera talent. I did a little bit of the recording. I did none of the editing because it's not my thing. He really wants it to be my thing, and he'd be trying to teach me. And I really just wanted him to do it.
I just feel like if you like, there's little basics that we can learn and everything like that. So like, if I'm like, because I don't know everything as far as, or what would sometimes look great. Like you, like I feel like it should be both of our things.
I mean, you try to teach me like the skill set behind it, like how to do it.
Well, because
I don't want to do it.
Because that's the thing. Like when I was in the hospital, like I felt like everything was put on hold.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay.
Even if I had the skill set to do it, I wouldn't have done it while you were in the hospital because you were in the hospital and I was just trying to keep my stuff together. So I'm not gonna do it. If you're at the point where you're in contact, I'm worried about making you better. I don't care about no video.
Aww.
Okay, he's trying to get mushy. I ain't got time for that. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate you. Until next Wednesday, which will be my birthday. Hey.
Sagittarius season.
Sagittarius season started today. Ew, ew, ew. Okay, bye y'all.